Hello everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today I am here with a publishing vlog. Let's jump right into it. It's been a minute and I have been wondering how to go about this because my process for book 2 of the In Ash series, I'm too out of focus, but this bad boy is getting a book 2. And I have not been vlogging the process, and I loved vlogging for book 1, the entirety of the process and all the behind the scenes, but a lot of the behind the scenes looks the same. I am still using Atmosphere Press. I am working with my same developmental editor. I have the same amazing cover design team, which I have not started working with yet, but I'm very excited for. But the process has started. So I can give you my rundown for what I have right now. I have a title for book 2. Don't have a cover for book 2 yet, but I can't share everything just yet because I still am not letting myself say it out loud, even though this probably won't come out until after it publishes, or after that announcement is made. Let me get my timeline for you because I like to personally keep a timeline of every book. So I have like a notebook for every book and then a timeline inside of that with notes from my editor, blurb ideas, all this kind of stuff. So everything for my book ends up in here, plot outlining or brainstorming, like everything from start to finish. And the book gets absolutely fully loaded with marketing ideas and cover design ideas and promotional things and what I want to do for pre-order swag. Like everything ends up in these books. So I started drafting on June 16th at Highlights. I have a vlog of that. My first words of the book and kind of drafting the book is already kind of documented at Highlights because I did write it there in 2021. In less than a year, I did kind of turn this around because while I was drafting this book, I was publishing book 1. I didn't work on it consistently throughout the year because again, A Curse and Ash took over a lot of time, but I did work on this for like a large chunk of time. So I started the draft on June 16th and I finished the draft on October 17th. So in 4 months, I finished this draft. Then I finished my first round of edits on December 28th. There was a jump there because I was marketing, I was doing stuff with this book, and I didn't get back into this for a little while because of like kind of publishing and marketing A Curse and Ash. Then I emailed critique partners on the 28th of December as well, got their feedback back and started working on those edits. I signed my contract for book 2 with Atmosphere on January 4th. And then by February 11th, I had implemented the edits from my critique partners and sent them my finished copy of the book. I was paired up with Megan, who was my editor the first time around, which was such a relief to me because she knows book 1, she knows the storyline, she can help me with consistency, she knows the character in my world, and I didn't have to like work with somebody new, which was phenomenal, and I'm very, very thrilled with that. I sent them a book that was 105,999 words, which is already right about what A Curse and Ash was. Then I had my editorial meeting with Megan to go over my edits on the 28th of February. She was done beforehand, but scheduling wise, we couldn't make it work until then. So on the 28th of February, I got my editorial feedback for my developmental edits and I started implementing those immediately. I turned those in on March 23rd. And we have an appointment and a meeting set up for April 1st to go over my developmental edits and how they did. And then I have a second round of edits if I need that time. So she'll be able to tell me what did and what didn't work. I sent back a version of the book that was 112,816 words. So I did increase the book by about 6,000 words, almost 7,000 words. There were some scenes that she wanted fleshed out. I noticed some inconsistencies, some things that I wanted to tighten up, and some things that I needed to add. And it's going really well. I would assume that I will be working with cover designers really soon. I will have a cover reveal, title reveal for you guys again. I have my publication date in mind. It will be later in October than A Curse and Ash came out because publishing happens on Tuesdays and there is a Tuesday later in October that is actually a new moon, and the new moon does hold significance within my world. Like the blurb on the back of book 1 says, everyone knows you don't mess with Fae on a new moon. I couldn't resist publishing on a Tuesday that's a new moon in October. So it'll be a little bit later. I think the 25th of October, but it's fine. And I'm really, really excited about that. Like a couple changes, but for the most part, the process is the same. The editing process is the same. My timeline looks, you know, pretty similar. And in general, things are going really, really well. I am in talks with Melanie from Unplugged Book Box to be able to offer an exclusive edition of A Curse in Ash, something that might match better with the coloring of the first book. There were a lot of people that reached out to her and reached out to me and said, will you be in Unplugged again? It's very difficult to do a book 2 in a book box because there's no guarantee that they were still subscribed, you know, in January 2022, but we may do an add-on or just like a one-off exclusive box. Yeah, there's some opportunities and some options that have opened up for me that I'm really excited about. And that's kind of where I am with book 2. It's moving along really well. By this stage in the game for Curse in Ash, I was so sick of reading that book because I had rewritten it and rewritten it and rewritten it and edited it myself so many times, and I was just done looking at it. I still have such genuine joy going over book 2 and editing book 2, and I don't know if that's going to last the entirety of the process, but for right now, I'm still really loving it. I'm so excited for everybody to see what's in store for Ashlyn and Reardon and Brynoch, because there's a lot that goes on in book 2. There's a lot of spice, there's a lot of danger, there's a lot of stakes, and there's a lot of like really soft, sweet moments, as well as like really tense ones. And I know kind of, you know, obviously I know where things are leading for them, and this is a real growth period for all of my characters and for the story itself and for the world. And I'm so excited for everybody to be able to read this. And I just hope to keep getting stronger with the series. And I really do think that a lot of growth occurs in this one, both for me as a writer and for the story and the characters. So I have had a little bit of progress with book 2, which I think I can tell you the name because this is coming out later. But I got back my proofread. So for that, I had 2 different editors, Chris and Julie, and they went through. So I had my 2 rounds of developmental edits, and then I had like proof, which is like a combination of copy and line edit. They gave me like word change suggestions, sentences that were a little bit wonky, fix some grammar, fix some typos, that kind of stuff. And it was so much more comprehensive this time around than it was with book 1. Book 1, I got really frustrated because for some reasons, for book 1, my smart quotations didn't take, so I had a lot of straight quotations. So my proof editor basically just changed all of my quotations. This time around, it was so much better. Like, I feel a lot better about the book and the quality and like the catches that were made this time around. Last time I felt like a lot of it was on me. And granted, there's still going to be mistakes that make it through regardless. And some of the style changes that were made by the editors were a little bit odd to me, but I went with it just based on their like professional opinion. So I've gone through and I approved their changes or rejected them, and then looked at all their comments and have like a clean document. I'm doing one more read through just to make sure everything's okay, and then it's going to go to internal formatting. I'm panicking a little bit because my internal formatting for book 1 included the images from the cover for each character. So for Ash, it was the tarot cards. For Reardon, it was the 2 rings that he wears on his necklace. For book 2, we have another POV. We have Brynoch's POV. And Bry doesn't have like a symbol yet. And I haven't done cover design yet. This time around, I think they said that too many people and too many authors were like changing titles or changing things, and then they'd have to like rework the covers. So the cover design comes a little bit later in the process now, which is fine. However, my title, my stuff is not changing, and I'm a little bit nervous because I don't know what the cover for book 2 is going to look like. If we're going to use the same scroll work, if we're going to use the same symbols in the corners, I'd want to change those out, but I don't know. So, yeah, I'm a little bit anxious. In general, I'm an anxious person. I'm thinking right now that I would want for Brynoch a crown or crowns for his symbol, since he is a Dark Fae prince. You know, I'd be comfortable with a crown as like the header image for his chapters. And if we do a similar, you know, layout on the cover to book 1, we could just use that. But I would need to make sure it's something that worked for the cover as well as the internal. And I don't want to hold up any one process or lock, you know, the cover designer into using an image that internal used. Other than that, legitimately, this is running so smoothly. They have a content manager named Alex who now takes you through every step of the process. Nick, who is the owner, he's a little bit more like hands-off, and he was doing all of it before, which is a lot for one person to take on. I'm thrilled to see that the company grew and that they've hired other people on. I am overjoyed with the editors that I had and the editing that I got. Like, I'm just so relieved and so happy. Once this is gone, once this version is done and goes to internal, I can make like small typo changes, but I can't make like actual sentence kind of plot hole changes. So I have to address everything now. So I'm going through and I am kind of doing a little bit more line edity things, just taking out unnecessary words that I'm still finding. I'm finding a couple little errors that weren't caught, which is fine. That's not their fault. It happens. I'm also starting to plan out an ARC team. I want to put together a newsletter with a sign-up form for anybody who wants to read this early. Obviously, the caveat would be you have to read book 1, but I'm hoping to get people to read book 2 early. They can also just be extra eyes if they see any little typos, and then hopefully get some early reviews up, and hopefully like favorable reviews, but honestly, I don't determine that. It's whatever people think. I've been nothing but transparent about this entire process. This is new to me. Novel writer, as a debut author, as somebody who is taking on a series for the first time and trying to structure a series. I can already see how book 3 is going to be stronger than book 2, but by no means does this have like a slump in it. Like, I don't think we have like a second book slump. I think a lot still happens in this book, and I'm still very, very happy with it. I'm hoping that my readers are too. And if you were there for the spice in book 1, wait for book 2 or book 3. It's gonna get good. It's gonna get good, my friends. It is me, back with another book 2 update, Prophecy in Ash. So I have officially now announced my title for Prophecy in Ash. I did that on Instagram. I will do a video on that at some point, probably when I have my cover reveal, but I wanted to update you on kind of what's been happening with A Prophecy in Ash, because things have been moving along really nicely, which is fantastic and makes me feel really good. June, July, August, September, I'm like 5 months away from Elise. Holy crap, I'm 5 months away from Elise. It's fine. Everything is fine. Which means I'm also 5 months away from having A Curse in Ash out for a year, which is also crazy banana sauce. The cover process has started, and I do have a final cover at this point. We went through a first cover, a round of edits, another round of edits, and another round of edits. So 4 different iterations, although they've all been really close to what the final product has been. I'm going to insert pictures because it's easier than trying to turn my camera around and look at a computer screen, but I'm looking at my computer so I can kind of describe them as I show you. So I'm going to kind of like I'm going to move myself here. I'll put it over like, I'm looking at the first cover. It was close. Problem being, the color is too close to the exclusive edition for Unplugged. Hated the castle in the background. Now, I wanted a castle in the background, but that ain't it. The castles in my book are not like that medieval turrety. They're more gothic with spires. That was not it. It also is so blocky and black, and there's no blurring. It doesn't give any dimension. It's very flat to me. I also did not like the starburst from behind her being white. I preferred like A Curse in Ash where it's like a different shade of the color of the cover. The white made it look very like angelic or time travel-y. Like it almost looked like it was a medieval time travel book. The bottom left-hand corner, which was the moon and like a sun, we swapped that out. And I knew that I wanted crowns, a crown for Ash and a crown for Bri, or at least just a crown to represent Brynock. So Ash has the tarot card and Rin, her familiar, up in the corners. I'm fine with that, but I needed Reardon's rings to be back on there so that he was represented on the cover, and the crowns to come down. So the crowns came down to the bottom corner and the rings went up to the top corner for all the other iterations. I also didn't like the sparks that were on her hand. They looked very much like scars, and I didn't like the card placement over her face. The reason that the card placement is over the model's face for a Kirsten Ash is because that's the way her hands were positioned in the actual stock photo. I chose this stock photo, so I knew that's not what she looked like. The saturation on her skin color was very bright, and I wanted it to look more natural. And the hand placement was very awkward to me. Like, that looks painful. I asked for some changes. So this one came through. The scroll work symbols are all in the right places. The ring, the crowns, that's all fantastic. I didn't like the angle of the card. I liked it kind of along her side jaw a little bit more. I love this model's face, and I just wanted to see a little bit more of it. The hand placement still looked a little bit off, and also her hair. I mentioned her hair in the first round of edits, and then also this one, but the cover model has hair that comes very long down each of her shoulders. Her hair is kind of like chopped off in the front, and also on the other side, but long in the back, which looks very odd to me. So I was like, I need her hair to be lengthened. They brought down the saturation on her face. I think the face looks so much better. The castle in the background is 1,000 times better, and also has like grass and a hedge and a wall and like a garden. So there's depth to the picture of the castle as well, which I really, really liked. Starburst, I think I still wanted a darkening around the border, but I wanted a darkening of the purple, like a deeper purple around the outside. There was a spark on her cheek that I wanted removed. The card and the hand still looked really painful. And in this one, they actually changed her hand, so it looks very tiny. Comparatively, it looked very small to me. They're the third round of covers. He gave me two options, one with a hand and one without a hand, because I just wanted to see what that looked like. They still hadn't fixed the hair. I don't know why, because I mentioned it multiple times, but the hair still hadn't been fixed. This time, to darken up around, they put these tree branches, and I hate them. They remind me of like a middle grade horror. It's just very stark. The way that it comes up the side towards the Y of prophecy just does not make sense to me. I nixed that. Spark was on her cheek. I don't think I mentioned the spark actually until this particular round. The card came down. I was really happy with the card placement, but there's like a purple haze around her fingers, which I didn't want there, obviously. I just needed the hand better, and I liked the card on that last one. I asked for no sparks on her face and kind of like on the card, because there's like a weird spark in the middle of the card. Get rid of the trees. I just need a darkening of the shade around the outside, and I need her hair. I gave them the cover model, and I said, I need her hair over her shoulders because it looks like it's singed off or something, and it looks very strange to me. So then we got to our final cover, which I love. It's just a darker purple, deeper purple around the outside of the border. You can still see the stars. A Prophecy in Ash still stands out beautifully. There is a little bit of depth to the castle in the background, but there also is a little bit of contrast to the sparks. They're the sun rays that kind of come out from behind her. Her hair is there over her shoulder. There's no spark on the card. There's no spark on her cheek. So all in all, I'm really happy with it. I think the depth, the contrast is all there. Her face looks beautiful. We already had a starting point. We knew that it had to match a Kirsten Ash. I knew I wanted to keep the scroll work, but change some of the symbols. In general, I wanted Ash to look a little bit more mature, to kind of reflect the changes in her life. And I love it. I'm really, really happy with it. The day after I got my final cover, I got my internal formatting proof, so I get to look through. Again, the template was already there. I knew what I wanted the internal to look like. I knew my font. I knew my drop caps. I knew my chapter headers. Unfortunately, they didn't have Brynock's crowns as an image, so his chapters right now have like Reardon's rings, so I need to like put in all of my changes. I go through page by page and list all the changes I need made on each page. This is also the phase at which I'm going to give out my arcs, so I do have an arc team form that's out. People are already signing up for that. This uncorrected internal formatting will be what I send as an arc, because it's closest to what the internal is going to look like. At least it has like the formatting, and then I will proof the physical proof, and then we're done. I can get my pre-order stuff started. I have not seen the back of the book yet, and I did just update my blurb for it, and I think we're going to have some review quotes that might fit onto there. I'm not sure yet. We're going to wait and see. That's my cover, and that's where I'm at. Proofing the internal is tedious. It's a lot. It's a lot. I think last time I had 90 some corrections for Kirsten Ash. I have no idea what it's going to look like this time. And I think I had just as many when I had the physical proof to correct as well. we're fixing errors the whole way through. Stuff happens, you know. So I'm actually going to go start that right now, but I wanted to update you and show you the final cover and show you the process from beginning to end, and a much easier, smoother transition between covers this time around, because I chose the cover model. I kind of knew what I wanted already, and we were in a better place. I will continue to update you as things move to different stages, but right now, definitely on target for my release date and for pre-order campaigns and all of that. You've seen my cover. My internal past pages came through, and I did my first round of corrections on that. I think there was like 246 of them. They got that back to me pretty quickly, like within a week, and then I looked over my list and then the PDF to like compare, make sure everything had been done. A couple things hadn't been, and then I caught a couple of other things. So I think there was 26 corrections that time around. So I sent that back. As long as that comes back clean, we're at a point where we're ready to move on to the print proof. I think within the next week, I'm going to be getting it out to ARC readers. I have like a 20-person team right now, which is perfectly fine. I think that's a manageable number for me that I can like keep track of. I have started conversations with Melanie from Unplugged Bookbox. Book 2 at this point will be getting an exclusive edition through Unplugged Bookbox. Right now, I'm still unsure exactly what the details of that look like, but by the time this goes live, that will already have been decided, because we're doing a pre-order campaign for Unplugged as well. It will be a book only or book in like one swag item option. And so what we're going to be doing, I think at this point, is a Prophecy in Ash as a 1-book box, potentially with like a candle or a scent. We're going to wait and see. I'm not 100% sure. I want to make sure I keep the cost as accessible as possible. And I know for book boxes and shipping and just overhead, everything like that, it's a lot. So I want to make sure, I would love to have a Prophecy in Ash themed item. However, I want to make sure the books and the boxes still stay affordable for everybody. So if that drives the cost up too much, I might ask to not do it, even though that would be like a dream of mine. So I'm going to wait and see. But I think at this point, we're going to do just a Prophecy in Ash, potentially with an item. I will also have an exclusive tarot card, which will be the one from the cover of A Prophecy in Ash, which is the Emperor. And then I will have my book plate. Then I will have an offer there as well for books 1 and 2. I'm going to do a limited print run on books 1, on book 1, on A Curse in Ash in the blue, like exclusive cover. So if you wanted to get book 2 and you missed book 1 in the book box, you can get a bundle of book 1 and book 2. And also, I think you're going to be able to get just the Emperor card. I don't think I have, I know I don't have any extra tarot cards from A Curse in Ash that went out in the Unplugged book box, and I don't think I'm going to be printing anymore. It's just a lot of overhead. To keep my overhead, like for A Curse in Ash, I really went like hard. I got the 3 tarot cards. I got the book plates. I got, you know, stuff for the books and soap, or the bubbles and books book box. I got stuff for Unplugged, you know, all the tarot cards, the book plates, those are coming out of my personal pocket. And they definitely cut into the overhead of any kind of earnings for the book. So because I know sales will be lower for book 2, I am only doing the 1 tarot card this time around for A Prophecy in Ash. So you will be able to get 2 if you purchase the Unplugged book box version. And then you can subscribe, or you can put that into my pre-order as well. That will count as a pre-order. I will have my own pre-order campaign. I am still working to get my local bookstore to also have a pre-order campaign, which would allow for signed and personalized copies. I'm hoping to have a lot of different options for people, whether you want to shop from like a bookshop.org or specifically to my indie, whether you want to sign up to Unplugged and get the Unplugged box, or if you want to just order from Amazon or Barnes & Noble and still subscribe and still put that into my pre-order giveaway. Yeah, I'm trying to offer as many options as possible. I should still have the option for international shipping on tarot card and book plate, but again, it's not going to be 3. It's just going to be the one that I have because I'm not printing out more. I am going to go back to drafting book 3. I've been working on book 3 in between different tasks that come in for book 2. Obviously, as book 2 things come, it takes priority. I stop drafting and then I have to go back again. So drafting book 3 has been an on and off process, which makes it a lot harder. It's just the nature of the beast. Atmosphere has super stepped up their game. They have really grown their team, as opposed to last time where I really only had like one point of contact. This time I've had a point of contact for every stage of the process. I had a point of contact for cover, I had a point of contact for editing, I had a point of contact for the internal formatting through the rest of the process. There's a lot more people that seem to be working in general at the team, and I'm really impressed with the way everything's handled. My questions are getting answered. I had to double check that I could still do, you know, a print run for the first Unplugged A Curse in Ash, and we were good to go. Let them know I was going to be doing another exclusive for Prophecy in Ash. They were thrilled. But all my questions are being, you know, addressed as it comes, and that's phenomenal. I'm hoping for a much easier upload and pre-order process than last time. I don't anticipate having the same issues. I think it's going to go very smoothly. Fingers crossed. And that's it. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update. Internal went back for a second time. Should be doing print proofing soon. Unplugged is happening again. Those are big things. Fresh from work, from 95-degree weather, and a pool, so I look a hot mess. However, I came home to a package, and this is my print proof of A Prophecy in Ash. I finished my internal proofing, got to my external proofing, proofed the back cover, and now I've got to read through this bad boy and see if there's any mistakes on the inside, which ARC readers have already pointed out a couple, and I already knew of a couple. So this seems to have come directly from Atmosphere, which makes me think that it's an Ingram arc, and if it's an Ingram arc, I won't have that bar across the front, and it will actually be like my official looking book. I'm excited, but I'm nervous because if this like actually looks like my book and it's not like a big line across it, I'm gonna be really excited. This will be my first time seeing it, and I'm just excited to hold it because it's been a long time working on it. Thicker than A Curse in Ash, I'll tell you that right now. I'm nervous to see if there's a bar across it. There's no bar across it. So this is the Ingram arc. So it's going to look like the finished copy. So this is what the back looks like. I'm not looking at the front. I'm not looking at the front. It is a stunning color, and I don't know if that's going to translate. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It is so beautiful. We have Bride's chapter headers with the crowns. It is stunning. The color on this is gorgeous in person. I was not sure exactly what it would look like, but it is gorgeous. The background image of the castle is fantastic. Like, I love this. Are you stinking kidding me? Like, look at how pretty they look together. Here they are together, like actually together. They are beautiful. Like, I can't get over how pretty they look together. The saturation on the color of her is really high because of the fire that's in her hands. So we brought it down a little bit for this cover model because there is no fire. So like, the saturation doesn't need to be as high. So you'll see like a little bit of like a tonal shift. I'm just gonna go sit and stare at this. I do have to proof this, which is gonna hurt my heart because I'm gonna have to write in it and tab it all up, but that's just the nature of the beast. I'm probably not going to do that until I can take this on my writing retreat in 2 weeks and take pictures of it. Thank you for being with me while I looked at it. My pre-order went up before I knew about it, so I was actually alerted that my cover was up on Amazon by being tagged on Instagram. I had no idea. My cover reveal was coming out like later. I had a whole like cover reveal plan, and then it went up for pre-order. People were seeing the cover, and I was like, I guess I'm doing it now. So I like scurried to do a cover reveal and then started some pre-order campaign stuff. Things are hurried up a little bit more, but it means I have more time for pre-order, and I'm not mad about that.